I'm Amy the Bunny Lady, and this is my partner Elusive, Ellie for short. High five! Good job, good job. Teddy's gonna get some too. And today I'm going to showcase some of the beautiful and adorable rabbits that I see at the animal shelter where I volunteer. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We give tips and tricks for how to make sure you have a happy and healthy bunny in your home. So if that's the kind of thing that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscription button and the notification bell next to it so you never miss any of our weekly videos. So there's this misconception out there that shelter rabbits or animals in a shelter are ugly or dirty. But that's just not true. There are so many rabbits there that are absolutely gorgeous, and some that are definitely have the characteristics of specific breeds. Teddy Bear here, for example, he is definitely a Harlequin rabbit. I got him at the animal shelter where I volunteer. Harlequin rabbits have very specific markings, so even though I didn't get him from a breeder, pretty sure that's what he is. Now there are of course many rabbits who are in the animal shelter who have had their fair share of neglect. For example, when Ellie first came to the shelter, she was pretty bedraggled. She had urine stains all along her bottom and her sides. But over the course of the couple months while she was there, it had all turned to white fur again, after she had had good care, been well cared for in the animal shelter. And so even by the time I adopted her, she wasn't looking dirty anymore, even though she did come in bad condition. Having been volunteering at a couple different animal shelters for a number of years now, for over 5 years, 7 years, something like that, I've actually been able to see so many different kinds of rabbits come in. There are so many beautiful breeds, and you really never know what you're going to find until you actually go into your local animal shelter and see what kinds of rabbits are available. So I want to go over some of the breeds that I've been able to identify while I've been volunteering. I was able to get footage of a bunch of them, but there are also many other rabbits who I have interacted with and taken care of that I don't have footage of. So this isn't an exhaustive list of all of the rabbits I've seen. It's also important to know that this is really my best guess for the breeds. Some of them very clearly have the markings of the breeds that I talk about, whereas some of them it's like, it's probably this, but I could be wrong. If you know a lot about any specific breed of rabbit and I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments that, hey, actually, this isn't what you said it was. The first breed I'll go over is Holland Lops. I actually see this breed a whole lot in the animal shelter. It's very, very common to see Holland Lop rabbits, at least in the areas where I've been in the East Coast. They're a very popular choice for people, for I guess beginner rabbits, because they're very cute and they're also very friendly. They're kind of known to have more puppy dog-like personalities generally. So you see them a lot from people who kind of don't realize what they're getting into when they first get a rabbit. They end up in the animal shelter pretty frequently. So if you're looking for a Holland Lop, definitely look at your animal shelter first, because you very well might find one, because they're such a popular choice as a first rabbit for a family. You also will find Florida white rabbits. Now I believe Ellie is probably a Florida white rabbit. These are a breed that's known for being white with red eyes. Now there are other breeds that can be white with red eyes too, so it's not like all white red-eyed rabbits are Florida white ones, but you'll see them pretty commonly in shelters. They've got kind of the wider ears, so you'll notice that one of Ellie's ears kind of droops down a little bit. That's why I think she's a Florida white, because she has kind of small back feet compared to other rabbits, and she's got those really wide ears. White red-eyed rabbits are something you'll see all the time in shelters, and they can be a number of breeds, but definitely Florida white is one of them. The Himalayan rabbits are the ones they have dark ears, a dark nose, and dark feet. I think they have a dark tail too, and red eyes. Himalayan rabbits are a pretty small breed. They're very cute, and I believe they're known for being pretty friendly too. So that's another type of rabbit that you might find at an animal shelter. English spot rabbits. This is one where they have like a dark mark on their nose. I think it's called a butterfly mark. And the marks on their cheeks, have dark ears, a line down their back, and then spots, varied spots on them. They're kind of a mid-sized rabbit, so I think somewhere from like 6 to 8 pounds is pretty typical. And I've seen a number of English spot rabbits I've seen a number of rabbits that also might be English spot. They certainly seem to have the English spot gene, but they might not be like purebred. They might be mixed breed. So it's one of those, sometimes mixed breeds are also adorable and will have these same types of beautiful patterns that a purebred might have. Lionheads are another one that I see all the time. I think they've become more popular recently. They've only recently, like in the past decade or so, been recognized as a rabbit breed in America. And these are the ones that they're called lionheads because they have long fur right around their head to make it look like a lion mane. So they're pretty easy to spot. But yeah, I see these ones all the time because they've been pretty popular recently as pets because of their unique look. Mini Rexes. I have also seen Rex rabbits, but I don't have any footage of like a full-size Rex rabbit because Rex rabbits can get quite big. But mini Rexes I have the footage of. Now Rex rabbits are unique in their fur. Most rabbits will be like pretty fluffy, will have lots of fur. But Rex rabbits have a totally different type of fur. It's more like velvet almost. Probably where the idea of the velveteen rabbit comes from is because their fur is super soft and it is very short. They're basically short-haired rabbits. It's a very unique fur type that you're not really going to see in other breeds other than Rexes and mini Rexes. Californian rabbits are basically larger Himalayan rabbits. I've seen Californian rabbits on a number of occasions. We got actually a bunch of them in the animal shelter early this year, and Californian rabbits are generally pretty sweet. They have the same markings. They have dark nose, dark ears, dark feet, and they have red eyes, and they're really beautiful rabbits, and they're generally known for being pretty sweet. In general, larger rabbits are known for having a more gentle or lazy, I guess, demeanor than smaller rabbits who tend to be a little bit more hyper. But of course, it always comes down to the individual rabbit's personality. Dutch rabbits. These are the rabbits that are born with a pair of pants on. Not really, but they'll have a very specific markings on their face, giving them like dark ears and then like a mask on their face. And then the bottom half of their body will be the darker color too. They can be black, brown, tan, gray, but it's always going to be those same exact markings. And then we have these very small Polish rabbits. These ones are the ones I'm not quite sure if they're Polish or not. They might be Havana. I don't think they're Havanas, but we got a bunch of these very small, wide-eyed black rabbits with like little white spots on their face. I believe that they are Polish rabbits, but I'm not 100% sure. In general, these guys were more skittish than other rabbits that I've worked with, but still quite friendly, still love being pet on the head and behind the ears. General sweet spots for rabbits. A silver martin. Now these ones we don't see all the time, but I have seen a couple of these. This is a kind of rabbit with very specific markings where they have what's called white guard hairs on the edges of their coats, I guess. So it's mostly black with those white hairs. I don't see silver martins all the time, but I have seen actually a couple of them since starting to work at the animal shelter. So you might find one of these here too. They're very beautiful rabbits and pretty unique in their coat. Mini lops. Okay, mini lops is kind of a confusing one because in Europe, Holland lops are called mini lops, but in America, mini lops are actually like medium-sized lop rabbits. They're not the same. So I'm talking about the American defined mini lop. They're usually like a size bigger than Holland lops, so they'll be in the 5 to 8 pound range rather than the 3 to 5 pound range that most Holland lops will be. Mini lops aren't the biggest size of lops, so you have like French lops and English lops that are very large rabbits, like 12 pounds or so, whereas mini lops they're not tiny, but they're in the middle. It's a little bit confusing, the naming structure, but you see mini lops all the time in animal shelters as well. I think a lot of people get mini lops thinking that they're going to be tiny rabbits, and then they get them and realize that they're not quite that tiny, and then they end up in the animal shelter. It's one of those things that people don't realize what they're getting into before they get a rabbit. So always do your homework and educate yourself before getting a new pet. That's one thing that I definitely advocate for, and definitely why I made this channel. Harlequin rabbits. Like I mentioned earlier, Teddy Bear is a Harlequin rabbit. Don't see very many Harlequins, but I have actually seen one or two others. I've also seen other rabbits that are not fully Harlequin. Like I've seen a lop rabbit with Harlequin markings. I've seen rabbits with markings that are related to Harlequin, even if it's probably not a full Harlequin, so they still have that those beautiful markings. Even if they're not a purebred rabbit, like, why does that really matter in the end? So that's another type of rabbit that you will see occasionally. Like, you'll never know what you'll find when you go to your animal shelter and check it out. And then this rabbit, I believe, is a Rhinelander. So Rhinelanders are unique in that they'll be white with spots, but they'll have two different color spots. They'll have dark spots, and then they'll have like these orangish spots. And while this rabbit, at first glance, looks like it's just got the one color spots, if you look closely, there's a couple areas where there's a third color, which makes me think that it's a Rhinelander, or at the very least related to a Rhinelander in some way. And then other notable breeds that I have seen but don't have footage for are Hotot rabbits, the Blanc-de Hotats, the big ones, and the little ones, the dwarf Hotats. They're the ones with the black eyeliner eyes. They're very cute. They have black eyeliner eyes and black ears, and otherwise they're all white. I have seen Belgian hares. These are rabbits that kind of look like they might be hares, but they are actually a breed of rabbit. There was one time where we had two little Belgian hares that they were crazy. They're known for being a little bit more skittish, a little bit more of a wild personality, and these guys definitely had that. They're quite cute though. I have seen a number of different chinchilla rabbits as well. I've seen standard chinchilla and also a giant chinchilla rabbit. They're called chinchilla rabbits because their coats are like chinchilla fur almost. It's the same color and it's very soft and fluffy and like dense fur. So that's why they're called chinchilla rabbits. And then there was one time, only once, but there was one time where we had a Flemish giant also. Which I know everybody hears of Flemish giants because they are the largest breed of rabbit that doesn't really have a maximum weight. But there was one time, it was probably about 15 pounds, a Flemish giant that we had. You really never know what you're going to find, and I really encourage you to go look because you can find some really cool rabbits at shelters. And don't forget to check out my merch at my Teespring store. This is my basic bunny. It shows up 15 minutes late with Starbucks. Don't forget to check that out. I have all different types of things. I have mugs, bags, you know, whatever you need. Definitely check out my store if you want. And thank you so much for watching. I do hope that we will see you next time.